means like it's old hat. It's nothing. It's, it was easy. So, but that's I like this sign a lot. I like to use it, but I use this one a lot. So, but you all fantastic. How about true? True. 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 How about let's see you sign your phone number with the area code. I want to see all 10 digits. All right.
I haven't done that one yet.
All right, remember 6, 7, 8, 9. So little finger, little number. I saw some people getting confused and like, no. I saw a little bit of that. I'm pretty sure your area code's not 378. Or no, wait, 38. What's the area code here? 376. It's not 37. See, I can't even say it wrong. So.
Yeah, but my area code is not 386.
Yeah.
Mine's 352.
Yeah, but everyone who did 376 though, I knew they meant 386.
Oh.
So, but you know, I just saw a few people get tripped up with the 7, the 8s, and the 6s. Those can be tricky, but the other numbers looked good. Let's run through our 20s also, because it's been a few weeks since we reviewed that. I know. 20, 20, 21, 21. We got 21 gun salute. 22. 22. Make sure you put your thumb in when you do 22. Otherwise, it looks like 33. 23. This is the tough one. Yes, you got it. You got it. Yep. 23. 23. Make a 3 and then you wiggle your middle finger. 23.
Well, what's for the 2? If you do 21.
This is the sign for 23.
Oh.
You want to stick your thumb out though. Otherwise, it looks like you're just going, we're number 1. So, 23. 24. You're going to do, oh, wait, I'm going to give you all a second. I'm sorry, I almost jumped the gun there. Just a little bit tired. Good. You're going to do this. I affectionately call it, by its very technical term, the weird 2. So, weird 2 and a 4. 24. 24. Weird 2 and a 4. Why do we do 20s with this? I have no idea. So, don't ask me because I don't know. It's the French. We're going to blame the French. Have we talked about the origins of American Sign Language?
Yes.
Now it's from French Sign Language? Perfect. Good. So, but I don't know why we do it like this. We just do. So, does it work? Okay, that's fine.
You keep jumping around.
Hey, cool. I'm going to be really distracted seeing this. Should probably set this behind me.
Yeah, don't stare at it all the time.
That's hard for me to do. I get distracted easily. So, please. So I get easily distracted. And my students at work, they know it too. It's awful. Because they know if they bring up the right topic, I'm off. And so, it's my kids. That's the trick. It's my kids. They'll be like, how's Oliver like in kindergarten? And then I'm gone. And they know it. And it's just, and see, I just did it now. So it's bad though. I'm bad about that. But I call it the rabbit trails. This is a good sign. Here's your task. You're way off. You get back on task. But I tend to be off task. But that's okay. Don't tell me. So, oh yeah, numbers, 25. Can you tell I just had a baby? Well, my wife, you know what I mean. So, 25, yes, 25. 25, make a 5, wiggle your middle finger and your ring finger. 25. 26. Yep, the weird 2 and a 6. Weird 2 and a 6. If you make a 6 and you shake it, what is that?
16. Oh,
16. Make a 7 and you shake it, 17. 18, 19.
Okay, so we're 2 and 6.
We're 2 and 6. We're 2 and 6. 27. We're 2 and a 7. We're 2 and a 7. 28. 28. 29. As my colleagues in the Spanish department say, 29. I said that right? Y nueve, yeah. 29. 29, we're 2 and a 9. And then 30, my Spanish is awful. 30. I was one of those, I took 3 years of Spanish in high school, and I don't really remember any of that, but the Spanish, like the little bit of Spanish I would use at work, I used to work as a cashier. That Spanish I can remember, but it's all like, you know, I'm not selling you any more beer, and which lottery ticket would you like? That's all I can. So, good, you know, useful stuff right there. I mean, I use it all the time. But all the stuff I learned in, 3 years of it, I'm like, I don't remember much of anything. Except for, I do remember, it's scarred in my mind, my teacher gave me such a hard time because that year I had Spanish for my 3rd year. It was a very conversational class. We did a lot of speaking in Spanish, a lot of us replying in Spanish, and I had just started dating Michelle. However, the year before, and it was prom and everything. Prom was coming up. This is like prom. Prom was coming up, and Michelle and I were dating by that point. I was going to take her to prom and everything, and we're still together. Yay! But the year before that, though, I had taken his daughter to prom, so the teacher's daughter. And so he had a field day with that, talking about how I took an hija to the ballet, and he ragged me in class. He's like, so you take my daughter to the dance 1 year, and now you're going with some other girl. What's wrong with you? He had a lot of fun with that. It was a fun class. So I'm sorry.
Huh?
I'm sorry. What was that?
I said player.
It wasn't at the same time. They were separate years. So no, he was a great guy. He just thought that was hilarious, and it was pretty funny. He was awesome. He taught me a very important lesson, which I should teach you all also. When you're learning another language, never just do the whole smile and nod thing. Did I tell you this story?
No.
Perfect. Okay, good. A story I haven't told you. Never do the whole smile and nod thing, because I told you it was a very conversational class. And I was probably like the worst Spanish speaker in there, because, I had a gap year in there between Spanish 2 and 3. So I was already I had a whole year where I didn't have any Spanish. Everyone else in there was a level 3 and 4 mixed class. And by 3 and 4 mixed, it meant level 4, and I was the only level 3 in there. Oh. So everyone else had a whole extra year, and I had a gap year, and it was just, so they were all leaps and bounds ahead of me, and I'm over there hola, señor. Me gusta la leche. I mean, I just had no idea what was going on. All those el caro es rojo, all those sentences they teach you that don't mean anything. So, and so I'm sitting there, I'd sit in class, and they'd be talking in Spanish, and I would just, see. And so he looks at me, he's like, Cody, see? I'm like, see. He's like, verdad? Which means right. I'm like, yeah, sí, señor. Sí, señor Caswell. And he's like, see, and he starts saying all these things, and I have no idea what's going on, and I'm like, see? Oh, see. And he's like, and then he switches to English, and he's like, you've already promised me your firstborn son. I'm pretty sure some other stuff. You should just stop now. Stop doing the whole nodding and shaking your head. So I'm still waiting for him to come and collect Oliver, but anyways. He was having a ball with it, though. So never ever just nod and shake your head yes. It's a bad idea. One time I was teaching a sign language class to get more on what we're doing here. I was teaching a sign language class. It was a one-off class for a bunch, it was during Deaf Camp. And because I teach sign language professionally, they thought, hey, it'd be cool if we could teach some of the camp staff some signs. Cody's a sign language teacher. We should have him do a class for them so they can know some basic signs. Good idea. So I'm teaching this class, and I'm teaching them. Y'all remember this one? Nice to meet you. And I told them, I was like, you need to be careful, don't get nice to meet you and nice to date you confused, because, you know, that could be awkward. And I said that. I said, don't get nice to meet you and nice to date you confused. And this one girl in the front, teen girl working at the camp, she goes, that's what he signed. And I'm like, you need to have a conversation with someone later, because I think you got yourself a boyfriend and don't even know it. So just be careful. Be careful. Understand. Make sure that you understand what the person says. Back of your hand facing out. Understand. Like the light bulb. Ding. Understand. Already? Finish. And my daughter uses this one, like, cause she's the kind of kid where you can't eat around her. Like, you eat around her, she's like, ooh, you have food for me. Like, she's a food thief. You know, my son couldn't care less, but my daughter is a little thief when it comes to food. Like, and how do you say no to her? I mean, she comes up to you with those big brown eyes, and she's all, peace, food peace. And so it's like, oh, of course. And then she's like she just eats it all. But whenever you do run out of food, she'll just go and just walk away. I'm going, all done. And so it's really adorable, but it's also really annoying after a while. We never eat ice cream while the kids are awake now. At least not her, because if we do, she's like a bird. She's like, Yes. You all know, you all parents, you know. I don't think it's only my daughter, but my son is different. He doesn't care. Like, I mean, part of it is he doesn't like ice cream, but my kid's a little weird. But anyways, don't tell him I said that. Finish already. Not yet. Late. Not yet. Late. When. When. Very good. This is a tricky one. It's like, think of it like you're drawing a clock. So there's the hands pointing up. When. Now, and this one's not on there, but does anyone remember the other when? When is not a question.
I barely remember that one.
When.
Happened.
Yeah, happened. Yes, it is also often translated happened. When. So an example of when is not a question. That sentence right there. But like, when I was a young warthog, you know, Lion King, that would be an example of when being used not as a question. So, when, but if you're using a question, when. And while we're on it, question words, where do they go? Or WH.
At the end.
WH question words go at the end. Very good. Today was the 21st? Right? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
Today. That's what happens to me. I take a few days off work and I'm like, I have no idea. Summer was awful. I'm like, I'd wake up in the morning and like go through my whole day. I'd be like, what is today? Am I supposed to go to church today? I don't even know anymore. It was bad.
So today's what after Monday?
Today, that is which. Like, which way am I going?
Oh, yeah.
So, which. Today just bounces. Today. And it bounces twice, that's important. Today. It's not a big deal, if you just do it once, it's now. So, I mean, it still makes sense. Now, today, you won't be like, it's not like, you know, dad or rooster. It's, you know, it'll still be understood, but it's just different. Yeah. Rooster. Chicken. Yeah. Rooster. Like that. Mm-hmm. So, it's a good sign to know. Rooster, just in case. And then tomorrow, I'm going to stop. Singing is not my gift. I have been in Baptist churches since I've been in high school. And I have never, ever been asked to sing in the choir. I don't know why. I think that's some kind of record. Tomorrow, because Michelle and I, we grew up in a small, that's where we met in church, like way back when we were in high school, and it was relatively small. It was probably 250, 300 people. I mean, compared to our church, it was like tiny. I mean, they didn't, you know, you wanted to sing, you were welcome in the choir. You know, more people the better. That was their philosophy. And they never asked me. They would ask everyone else, but they always skip me. C. Did I tell you all how bad I am at singing? Did I tell you that what happened to me with the deaf person? I'm so bad, a deaf person told me I was a bad singer. That really happened. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. Like that, we were in church. She had her hearing aids in, and I would mess with the voice interpreter in church because I know I'm bad. I get it. I would mess with the voice interpreter, and I knew if the music went down, because they would use like a CD, and then they had this hard of hearing guy who would sign the songs. It was a deaf service, and I knew that if that went down, if I started before the voice interpreter, she wouldn't be able to get on key, whatever that means. So, and I could throw off her whole singing, and it would really annoy her. And I like to do that. So the music went down, and I just like, Amazing Grace, and I just jumped right in there. And this she was a college student. She was a friend from the college. She turns around to me and she goes, "You really are awful." And that was the time a deaf person told me I was a bad singer. And she hates that I tell people that story because I saw her at a wedding a few years ago. And she lives in Ohio now. We're still friends on Facebook, but I saw her like in person, and I was like, "You remember that time?" I still tell people that story. She goes, "No, you don't." I'm like, "Yes," and she goes, "Oh, that's awful." But it's true though; it happened. I'm very proud of that. Later. One time, and then I'll stop with the stories. I entered to a talent show at college, singing. And I won because they thought it was a comedy act.
It was like the Arabian Nights.
It was Arabian Nights.
I saw it on YouTube.
You saw the video?
Yeah.
I made the video private because some of my students at work found it. So I made it private so they couldn't see it. But no, I dressed like Aladdin and I sang Arabian Nights. And it started off as a joke because I knew the person who was doing the judging like for the initial ones, and I just thought it'd be funny to like walk in and be like, "Arabian Nights," and they moved everyone up to the next round. And then for some reason they moved me up to the next round after that. And I'm sitting there like, this was a joke. Like, I started doing this as a joke, and now I'm performing in front of like this huge, like, there were like a few hundred people there. They did it during like their college days thing, or like the college, like where you can come in and tour the college and stuff. And I'm like, great, like this is just what I needed. I entered this as a joke, and now I have to perform this song horribly in front of all these people. But I won $20, so, and I got a free dinner also at Outback. It was totally worth it. So that was for 4 years in college. I was that guy. I was the oh, you're the one who did the talent show. People. I'll get back on track now, kind of. I promise. People. How many? I can't tell you all my stories. So how many? Children. Very good. Very good. Children. I have one more of those now. Children. So this one, no. Aunt or aunt, however you. I think aunt is more of a southern way to say it.
It is.
You from north?
I'm from the north. Nobody's.
I grew up north, I said aunt.
I always.
All right, who says
nobody's.
aunt?
I say.
No, aunt.
Yeah, aunt.
You say aunt. Where are you from?
I'm from Connecticut.
Connecticut. But you're from up north, though, aren't you?
I'm from Colchester.
Up north? Up north? Y'all from up north?
So my husband says aunt, he's from Hampshire. He says aunt.
Okay, it's such a weird thing. I don't know why.
It's like pop.
Pop. Well, everyone knows it's called soda.
Soda.
Or Coke. See, I have to be a rebel. I don't call it soda or pop. I should call it Coke. Doesn't matter if it's a Pepsi. Doesn't matter if it's a Sprite. It's Coke. Uncle. Boy. Very good. Girl. Oh, I see. You could do I see. If you want to be clever. What's the sign I taught you all though? Yep. So say I'm having a conversation over here with Ethan. I'm like,
Nod your head and saying yes.
yep, you can even do the little.
I was being sarcastic. Saying yes.
Oh yeah, just nod your head and say yes. Yeah, just do that. Whatever someone says to you, just It makes life more adventurous. Never know who you'll end up dating. Oh, I see. Well, thankfully though, this one is more of like saying, it's more of like a
Yeah, that's the
It's
sound
not,
effects I give when
not
I
like you're
follow.
agreeing. Well, I've agreed to a lot of stuff in my life. All right, so now we're in lesson 8, and this should be our new lesson for today. So, lesson 8. So, first sign is bathroom. Yep, bathroom. Y'all already know this one. Bathroom. I'll talk about that in a second. Bathroom. Bathroom. You're going to make a T. Bathroom, and just shake it back and forth. Now, a lot of people have learned bathroom or restroom. You see it like this sometimes. Most of the time you see it like this. This is really not the sign for bathroom. They teach it in elementary schools. Because I guess, I don't really know why. Because there's a perfectly good sign for it. But they teach it in elementary schools. I get a lot of students who are like, bathroom, bathroom. Really? This means ready. So that's the sign for ready. Ready. You can do ready a lot of different ways, but it's ready. Ready. You know, the color red. So, I got jokes. But it's ready. So it gets confusing. I prefer bathroom. Bathroom. And why do you think it's a T? You want to take a stab?
Toilet.
Toilet! Toilet. Bathroom. Bathroom. And I'm sure it's probably some French word also that means bathroom. I don't know. Don't speak French. I gotta stop listening to that. It's really distracting too. Bathroom. Bathroom. That's an important sign to know. So where's the bathroom? How would you sign that? I love how some people pointed. Yep. Bathroom? Where?
Oh.
Remember, WH question words go where?
At the end.
At the end. Restaurant. So you're going to make an R.
Oh, good, 'cause that looked like.
I know. I know. Pictures aren't always very clear. Oh yeah, I guess it does kind of. I never even thought about that. No, my fingers are definitely crossed one under the other.
Oh, that's much better.
I'm not, there's no images like that in this book.
Kind of funny.
So, I know, I just noticed that. So, I literally taught this class here at church using this curriculum probably 4 or 5 times, and nobody has noticed that until now.
Sorry.
So, restaurant, like you're wiping, this is sorry for napkin. Napkin, restaurant. Restaurant. Napkin, restaurant. So I want you to spell your answer to me. Your favorite.
I said Chinaman.
Alright.
We call him like that.
Oh, the deli. I didn't see any sunnies though. Y'all are a weird bunch. I love sunnies. It's my place. I love sunnies. That, and I don't know if y'all have ever had Bay Street seafood. It's over on Bay Street, like here in Daytona Beach. It's some of the best seafood I've ever had.
Okay, well, where is Bay Street?
By First Baptist Church, by their old building. Yeah, it's off Ridgewood, close to Beach Street. Yes. Where that old hotel was, that was like that they just tore down finally. It's like that right by there. They have some of the best seafood. Actually, now I want seafood. But anyways, it's delicious though.
Just eat it before you get home.
I should. No, my wife's making lasagna tonight, so I'm good. I love my wife's lasagna. No, I eat well.
Your wife just had a baby Friday and you got her cooking on you.
Well, I don't know if I don't think she's cooking it. Her mom and grandma are in town, so they're doing a lot of the cooking.
There you go. And we are all going to your house for dinner.
Come on over. If you can find it, you can stay. No, I'm just kidding. So no, so she's got help in town. She's not cooking everything. She's got lots of help for now. So yes, it is. So we got a full house now, so it's fun. We got kids in each room. We got, you know, her grandma, our mom's day. It's a lot of fun. It's fun at the Holland household right now. So soon. Now we just talked about this. It's kind of funny that we talked about this today. Remember? What does that mean? You're a pro. You're very good at something. You're skilled. But if you do it without the facial expression, it means soon. It's an F.
So, this is also perfect, right? Perfect.
You're thinking of it's perfect in the sense of like that sign.
Right.
Like you're very good at something, you did it
Yes,
perfectly.
Perfect,
Yes,
Like when you-
but with that facial expression.
right.
Without the facial expression,
For some
it's
reason,
soon.
this is like perfect in my head.
Yes, well, because that makes sense with that other concept. Like something's perfect. Like what was it? We were watching on Hulu. We found out they have American Ninja Warrior, and I love. Have y'all ever seen that show?
Yeah.
And they like do the obstacles, and you watch it, and you're like, I could do that, and then you go outside and try to do a push up, and you're like, all right, nope, not gonna happen. So
Did you see the guy from here recently that was on there?
no, it's on Hulu. It's all
Oh.
old episodes. I think we're on season 11. I don't even know how many seasons there
Oh,
are.
I don't know.
But it
No,
starts
I'm
on
on the
season
next
11.
night. It comes on the very next night.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
Okay.
live
Well,
show
maybe,
come
I
on
haven't
next
seen them
night.
yet. Not yet. So, but I've been enjoying it though. I'll have to watch for that though. It's fun. We've been watching that, and so like you watch it, you're like, oh, that road is perfect. Like that was really good. Like
Right,
so. There's another sign though, which is perfect or perfect. You'll see this one.
yeah.
Perfect. So, but that means like something's done perfectly. It's done very well. But without the facial expression, it's soon. Those facial expressions are really important in sign language. So, very skilled, perfect, soon. You also notice with this one, it's just once. With this one, it's like a tapping. Soon. Sometimes you'll also see soon. So, soon. So class finished. When? Soon. Well, not really. We still got 20 minutes. So y'all, I can do a lot in 20 minutes. I teach high school, so you'd be surprised how much I can fit in 20 minutes. Food and eat. All right. I'm going to teach you something today, which is good because y'all came to a class. In ASL, we have what are called noun-verb pairs. So what that means is that there are signs that are extremely similar, except in their movement. The verb, which for our younger people in here, that's an action word, has one movement, and the nouns, which is a person, place, thing, or idea. I paid attention in English. That has a double motion. So this for eat and food. Eat is once. Eat, food. So eat, food. This was one of those things, I did not learn this when I started learning sign language. Because I learned by getting around deaf people, just being around them and watching them and asking them questions and copying them. And I didn't learn it, but once someone told me that, I was like, no, you're lying. Oh my goodness, it works. Like, it's one of those things I never realized I did it, but I was doing it the whole time. Yeah, but it's probably something it's like in the back of your head. It's just one of those things that kind of gets tucked in the back of your head. Like, they don't explain it, but it's like, oh, that's true. We have rules like that in English too. So is it a big brown cat or a brown big cat?
Big brown cat.
It's a big brown cat. And most of you all are like, yeah, it's a big brown cat. Well, why isn't it a brown big cat?
This sounds weird.
It does. It sounds weird. Same thing in sign language. There are rules like that are like not always stated, but without it, it just doesn't make sense.
So you're saying always the verb is one touch and always the noun is two touch?
Most of the time. Like any language, there are rules that are broken.
Well, yes, but the majority of the time that is
99% of the time, yes.
verb one, noun twice.
Yes. Yes. Another example, cut, scissors. So sometimes it's like which verb and which noun go with it, because that's not always clear. Sit, chair. So you gave me a weird look there.
Is chair once bounce? Is that what you?
No, sit is once, chair is a bounce.
Because chair is the noun and sit is the verb.
Yep. Now, I don't expect you to remember that. This noun verb pair thing is something I expect you just to file away in the back of your head and just be watching for it, because I promise you, you'll be watching for it and you'll see it one day and you'll go, he was right. And then I expect a phone call. No, I'm just kidding. I expect a phone call. No, actually, alright, another story time. I was interpreting in a classroom, and that's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't want to say too much information. But I'm interpreting for a teacher, and he was a new teacher. It was like his first year, and the class was just driving him crazy. And he's just like having this is high school. He's having such a hard time with these kids, and they just aren't paying attention to him. So with students, you'll notice if you do something unexpected, they'll get quiet really fast because they want to see what's going on. So he pulls out his phone, hits some buttons. All of a sudden you're like, ring, ring. Like you hear his phone ringing and stuff, and everyone's kind of like, is he making a phone call? And you hear this lady online go, hello? And he's like, hey mom. And she's like, hi, what's going on? And he goes, I just wanted to tell you were right. I should have gone to law school. I'll call you later. Bye. It was really funny. So he called his mom right in the middle of his teaching because the students wouldn't be quiet. He's like, yeah, I should have gone to law school. You were right. So, yeah, I know. How did I get on that topic?
About the verbs and.
Verb and
noun.
Oh yeah, somehow that reminded me. I don't know, but it's a fun story.
I don't know how you got that.
Y'all look like you needed a funny story. That's all I just
All roads lead to fun stories.
They do. So we have food and eat. For now, I expect that just to be something you file away in the back of your head. A phone call, because I expect to get a phone call when you find out that I'm right and you see it in real life, and that's what made that pop in. That's how I got there. I don't even know sometimes.
Associations.
So those associations, yes, those associations. But just file that away. If you sign this and you got the context right, you'll be set to know that you're talking about some kind of eating or food. You're set. So if you say you want food or you want eat, you're understood either way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like this funny and like this fun.
It is funny, fun.
Funny.
Yep, funny, fun,
Okay.
funny.
Certain things are triggering. I'm like, wait a minute, I think
Funny,
that was
fun.
something.
Yes, and I believe that's a related kind of concept to that. I don't know if it's technically a noun verb pair, but I think there's a relation
Yeah,
there.
I just know the ones like
Linguistically,
action,
yes.
active.
Yeah. Because you are funny or something is fun.
Right.
So
That's how I was looking at
yeah,
it.
that's the right kind of idea. So, and that's a very pronounced example because they are kind of different. But there, you'll see a lot of them as you go
Just
on with
triggered
this
too.
language. As you continue with it, you'll see a lot more.
Mhm.
Water. Water. Make a W. Just put it up to your mouth. Water. I'm going to ask you a question in sign language. You're all going to see if you can respond to me.
In the hallway.
There. Very good. There. Got one clever student who held up a bottle of water. I appreciate that. So, water. Very good. Water. Don't know. We actually kind of already brought this one up. Don't know. Don't care. So, don't know. This is don't care. That's a good one to know. That's not in here, is it? Nope, I'm good. Yep. Don't know, don't care. Don't know? Start here at your nose, don't care.
I like that.
Yeah, right? I like that sign. That's funny, don't care. It's right up there for me with what's wrong with you. What's wrong with you? Looks like I'm, kind of Italian or something, but nothing against Italians, but I just.
You sure this didn't originate in Italy?
I'm sure. No, they got their own sign language in Italy. It's pretty expressive. Don't know. City. You will see it like this also. City or city. Think housetops. Like roofs, like city or city. Also a sign for neighborhood, community, town, village, all those things. We just have one sign for it. City or city. And if you're curious how to sign the different cities around here, because we have a lot of different cities here. So Daytona Beach is just a D and a B. Daytona Beach. Holly Hill, you bounce an H. And that does mean, does anyone know what that LSAT can mean? The sign has come up before. Hard of hearing? Hard of hearing, Holly Hill. It's also, some people sign history. So, although sometimes you see history also, but history. Ormond, O-B, Ormond. Ormond. Port Orange, it's just a P-O. Port Orange. That one gets confusing though, because that's also the sign for post office. It's also the sign for parole officer. So, I mean, you gotta go visit your PO at the PO and PO. I mean, it gets really confusing. So, so PO though is Port Orange.
All about context, right?
It is. It's all about context. Although sometimes not even that. I'm going PO. Port Orange or post office. So, Port Orange. Any other cities y'all really care about knowing? Orlando.
What's Palm Coast?
PC, Palm Coast. Orlando. Because I used to live there. JAX is Jacksonville.
That's cool.
And this is Jaguars. It's the only NFL team you need to know. Jaguars.
Or the
Yes.
Gators.
About New Smyrna.
Jacksonville. The city. You know, about here. Jacksonville. You know the city, Florida? No. That's what it means. it's a city name.
South
JAX.
Dakota.
South DB. South DB. I heard New Smyrna Beach, NSB. Yep. Yes, it is. They have their own police.
We have our own mayor, our own city hall,
Yeah.
everything.
She just learned something.
I know. The look on her face was priceless too. She was like, "What?" Oh, that was funny. So, a lot of the signs on the other side of the county, I'm not as well versed on them, but you know, I usually see DeLand, Fingerspell. Same with like Deltona. I do see Orange City. DeBerry. I don't know if anyone actually lives in DeBerry. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I should have saved that joke for Pearson. Because I really don't think anybody lives there. Pearson. You know. Do we have anyone here who's from Pearson or lives in Pearson or has Daily on Springs? That's alright. That's far enough from Pearson. Palacta. You know, the toothbrush was invented in Palacta.
Really?
Yeah. Anywhere else they would have called it a teeth brush. So,
Oh,
but it's Palacta. That's the sign, Palacta. I always say it wrong.
They got the Palackaline going on.
They do. There's a town back home called Arcadia that we would always say that joke about. But then I got up to Jacksonville. They also said that about Palacta, and I was like, oh, that works.
Yeah, Palacta and Arcadia are very.
You been to? You know where Arcadia is?
I do.
Really? So you've
Drive
been
to
to nowhere and you
Arcadia,
fell in the
that's
middle of it. That's Arcadia.
Years ago, I
Unless
went to
you
a
like-
rodeo down there.
Really? I'm not surprised. So, Hungary, not the country. Hungary, and you do it just once.
I'm Austrian.
I won't go into like too many details, but if you do it multiple times, it's
Starving?
no, it's an inappropriate sign.
Oh.
So I'll just leave it at that. If you really want to know, maybe I'll tell you after class. I don't know. It's just, it's not a very appropriate sign. So we'll just do it once and just trust me, please. As you go along more, you'll find out what it means. It's just not appropriate. Hungry. Hungry. Oh, we already talked about these last two too. Don't like, and then don't want. Y'all remember those when we didn't like and want? They should probably have been way up there, but whatever. It's fine.
Did it don't like one yet?
Don't like. You make an 8 and you flick it away.
Oh, 8.
Yep. And then don't want. So, I don't want water. We're going to just do a few of the practices. I. Close. I should. No, you did mine. You did mine. I want water. Very good. I don't know your name. Yep, so you can do I don't know your name. You can also flip it around a little bit and do your name, I don't know. So you can flip stuff around in sign language. You have that freedom. You have a lot of freedom in sign language. It's kind of nice. Usually when you show the topic, it's just like a little bit of an eyebrow raise. That's all you do. So, and like you did it. I don't even know if you realize you did it, but you did it.
My husband says I'm so expressive.
Yeah,
He's like, a million faces. She's
yeah,
like, look at your faces.
I don't even know if you realize you did it, but you did. So that, just a little side eyebrow raise, your name, and it shows that that's the subject. So, well, technically in that sense it's not the subject, but it's like the topic of the
It's kind of
sentence.
natural for people to.
It is. It is natural, and it's a lot of these facial expressions we talk about. If you spent all your time trying to memorize them, you would get overwhelmed quickly. But it's just one of those things that, like, the more you watch and the more you learn, you just almost pick it up naturally. It just becomes like that's what that is. It just becomes like, you just know it. I don't know. That's like the worst answer for your teacher to give. Just keep watching, you'll figure it out, you'll be fine. So, but that's really how it works though. I mean, and if you think about it, like I had a student today tell me, because they're working on their review projects at school. And he's like, I can't memorize all this. I'm like, well, that's because you're past the point of memorizing these. Now it's about using the language. And he's like, there's still a lot to memorize. I'm like, let me ask you, are you memorizing all the words you're speaking right now? Like, do you have them all, like, memorized, or do you just, like, know how to use them? And he's like, I guess you got a point. He wasn't very happy about it, though, but, you'll get to the point where it's not just about memorizing these things, it's just learning how to use them, seeing them used, and just letting your brain make those connections that it makes naturally. Because our brains are wired to communicate. Like, people love to talk. Like, that's what we do. There was like a group of deaf kids in Nicaragua, I believe, and they had no access. They were like it's a village. I think it might have been a school, but they had no real language instruction. And these kids ended up developing like their own language, just trying to communicate with each other. And later on, linguists came through and were like, "Wait, what are they doing?" And then started studying it. And, it was its own complex thing for communication. And it just kind of naturally developed among these kids at this, I think it was a school. So, but it's just, people just love to communicate. Let your brain make those connections, and it will. Do we have any questions before we dismiss?
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine. St. Augustine. Also the sign for institute, because that's where the deaf school is. Yep. Y'all don't know that? FSDB, Florida School for the Deaf and Blind, is right there in St. Augustine. So, I'm sorry?
I did a high school soccer game between New Smyrna and FSP.
Oh, you did. That's fun.
We do have a deaf and blind school right here behind Daytona State College School.
Blind school.
Just blind.
Multi-disability blind. So they get some deaf and blind there. But it's not just deaf. Because you're talking about either the Division of Blind Services or the Conklin Center. They're both right
The
there.
Conklin Center, because I did a fieldwork assignment there when I was going to school back in 2012.
They do. There's a very high percentage, an unusually high percentage of deaf blind people who live here because of the Conklin Center there.
Yes.
They come here for training and they end up staying. But their thing is actually multi-disability blind. So it's blind and then deaf, or blind and Down syndrome, blind and autistic, different things like that. But
Gotcha.
but that's the Conklin Center. I'm very familiar with them. So, any other questions? All right, we'll go ahead and close out with prayer. You all have been fantastic today. Dear Lord, Father, thank you so much for this wonderful day. I pray that you bless us as we all go our separate ways. Help us to be good students of this language, and we love you so much. In Jesus' name, amen. Y'all are